So transfer deadline day is here, the day that Sky Sports try to make loan signings and small deals seem like big money signings. Yes, it's that day. It's so tedious. Ever since Sky Sports have tried to commercialise transfer deadline day, it's become overrated. Not many players go on deadline day, not any big signings anyway, not of the like of Berbatov that we saw in the past. And today, watching them try and make small £13 million deals of Ndiang to Sunderland seem like world record deals is really funny. And it's funny watching them all scrape the barrel, and I'm sure Jim White will make it that little bit worse later on today. But anyway, there have been a few deals and I'm going to talk about them right now. From a Manchester United perspective, Will Keane has left the club on a permanent deal and joined Hull City. Mick Phelan, a man that he worked with at Manchester United in the past, I'm sure will look forward to getting Will Keane at his club. He's got a squad that is very thin. So Will Keane could expect some Premier League game time this season. It's just what he needed. He didn't get the rubber to green at Old Trafford. He obviously had talent, he had ability. He got to show it a few times but was often sent out on loan. And then think back to last season, he comes on against Shrewsbury, he pulls his groin as he hits the post, and the next game against Midgetland, Marcus Rashford, who comes in for Anthony Martial, who was injured, grabs the headlines and he makes that space in the squad his own. Sometimes you need that rubber to green just to make the breakthrough at a big club, and he hasn't quite had that. So unlucky for him, but good luck to him at Hull, and I'm sure he'll do well there. I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on in the Premier League. Then of course we'll move on to some of the deals that our rivals have been involved in. Now the first one I want to talk about is Joe Hart's move to Torino on loan. Now when Pep Guardiola wants to get rid of him, I wasn't surprised at all. I haven't bought into the hype that surrounded Joe Hart. I think he's a little bit of a, what would the football Twitter guys say? A passion merchant? I think that's fair. I think he makes some decent saves at time that really look good for the camera, but I don't think he's anywhere near the likes of David De Gea, Manuel Neuer, Hugo Lloris, etc. So I'm not surprised that Pep Guardiola wants to get rid of Joe Hart. And then you look at the clubs that have come in for him: Torino, Everton, Sunderland, etc. Now all due respect to those clubs, and Torino aren't minnows by the way, like it has been suggested. They're not the greatest of teams. They're not the biggest teams in the world. Doesn't that say all about what Joe Hart is as a goalkeeper and just how overrated he has been at Manchester City? Does it? Please tell me in the comments below what you think. Do you think I'm being unfair to Joe Hart? Because I wasn't surprised he made all those mistakes at the Euros. He makes mistakes for Manchester City. Yes, he does make some good saves at times, but I think he costs them more than he saves them. He seems like he's got this big ego that probably doesn't fit his ability. And I think City are better off without him. I would have much rather City kept him in between the sticks, because with the way they play football, he would have made more mistakes this season. And now moving on to another guy that I'm not the biggest fan of, Jack Wilshere. He'd been made available on loan by Arsenal, and the likes of Bournemouth and Crystal Palace are rumoured to be interested, with him looking likely that he's going to sign for Bournemouth on a season-long loan. Now Jack Wilshere, whilst he clearly has potential, he's obviously still living off that one performance against Barcelona about 5 years ago. It's absolutely incredible. He hasn't developed at all, hasn't been helped by injury, hasn't been helped by his off-the-pitch antics at all. But he just hasn't lived up to the potential that he had. And he does have potential, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's poor here. But I said this last year and I got ridiculed for it. He wasn't even first team at Arsenal. He wasn't first 11 at Arsenal. He shouldn't be starting for them. And he hasn't been. And now Arsene Wenger's sending him out on loan. It kind of all makes sense, and I'm not surprised. And I'd say this as well. If Jack Wilshere wasn't English, Arsenal would have got rid of him ages ago. Ages ago. Because he doesn't, what is he providing is more hassle than good. Right? He's more likely to be on the front pages than the back pages. Right? Not surprised at all. But saying that, this move to Bournemouth could be a good move for him. I think with Arsenal and Arsene Wenger, maybe after oh so long there and so many few seasons of failure now turning into 10-11, that the players get bored of what this manager has to say. He's not saying anything new. He's not bringing anything new to the table. He's not challenging them. And maybe Jack Wilshere's just been a result of that. Like a lot of players of Arsenal have just got super comfortable. And maybe now leaving going to Bournemouth, a club that are fighting at the other end of the table, playing under a young manager that will play football that he's used to, a style of play that he's used to, but also bring something new to him. Try and bring the best out of Jack Wilshere. So I think it's a good move for him, but I'm not surprised Arsenal are getting rid at all. And I can't find it quite funny to prove that finally now Arsenal Twitter will see just how right I was. The man is overrated. And now we move on to Chelsea. They're rumoured to be very, very close to bringing back David Luiz. Can you believe this? Sideshow Bob, they sold him to PSG for about 50 million and now they're ready to bring him back for around 35 million. Can you believe it? Why would they do this? Aren't they trying to make their defence stronger and not weaker? The guy's a character and I find him quite funny, let's be honest. And he can play football at times. But defensively, Antonio Conte thinks he's going to improve his defence. Really? I think it'll allow them to have the option of playing 3 at the back, which I'm sure Conte will love. But defensively, you've got the same defence that you had about 3 or 4 years ago in Cahill, Terry, Luiz and all that. And you're going back to that defence? I can't see this one working out for Chelsea. And I'm surprised by this move. Now, he may be helped by the fact that Antonio Conte is a more defensive-minded manager. He can help him out in that aspect. But David Luiz returning to Chelsea in the Premier League, I can't believe it. And I think this one could blow up in their faces. Notable mention, though, to Stoke City today, who I think have done some very good business. They brought in Bruno Martins-Indi, Wilfred Boney, both on loan deals, and that's added to a squad that they already have, which is pretty good as well. Mark Hughes making some very good business there. The guys, I'm off for now, but that's my thought on some of the deadline day deals. And of course, tonight I will be on Full-Time Devils. We'll be live on Facebook, YouTube, all of that. We'll be doing a transfer window review of Manchester United's season because it doesn't look like we're going to sign anyone on deadline day. But if we do, we'll be there live to cover it all. So make sure you subscribe to McKola TV, subscribe to Full-Time Devils, like, comment and share. Get your thoughts in below on the transfers that I've spoken about today. And of course, any other deadline day deals. I've been Adam McKola. This has been McKola TV. I'm out of it.